many new products. Many of our brands have been very well known even in India. These are Duoderms, Aquacell, surgical cover dressings, or Stomacare. I have walked into some of the pharmacies here in India in my early stages of coming to India and investigating an opportunity to set up operations, and I found Duoderm. So that was being used even before we set up our operations in India. But we have been here present for 2 years. I will tell you more about what we do. And the products are gaining popularity. See, the basic technology, if you look at the wound products, because we are going to talk on the sternal wounds today, the fundamental technology which we use is called hydrofiber or Aquacell. Now, if you have an exudating or an infected wound, this technology helps you to effectively deliver the drug to the infected site. It also helps you effectively clean the surface of the wound and allow the body to help recover the wound. Now, using Aquacell as a basic technology, you come up with different products. We have specialized products called surgical cover dressings that will combine hydrocolloids and hydrofibers to address your knee transplants, to address your hip replacement, address your sternal wounds, spinal surgeries, and many more. Similarly, we also have foam products which are used for bed sore patients. And sometimes bed sores are not easy to treat. It takes a while. If we continue to use traditional wound treatments, you won't get rid of it very quickly. You've got to have proper wound management. Now, in the past couple of months, ConvaTec has acquired a number of companies. And we strongly believe in going closer to our patients. We have acquired a couple of direct-to-patient companies in UK and in Brazil, 180 Degree Medical in US, the Show Acclaim in United Kingdom, the BMD in Brazil. These have helped us take the products and deliver the benefits to the patients directly, obviously with the guidance of doctors and surgeons who are required to examine the situation of the patients. Now in India, this is not my first venture in India. I've been in India a couple of times to set up operations. That has been my passion, to bring new technologies in India, though I've been residing in the United States for more than 15 years. Last time I was here to do an acquisition from GlaxoSmithKline in Mumbai. But this time when I came to India with ConvaTec and being a world leader in wound management, when I looked across the healthcare sector, I could see that this is a missed opportunity for many of you. This is, especially for hospitals, this is a missed revenue. You're not looking at this as a revenue. You're losing a major opportunity. If I go to a hospital in, say, United States or in Australia, or even to that matter in Singapore, you have a wound department, a wound center of excellence, where there are wound nurses. Whatever kind of surgeries you do or whatever kind of wounds you have in the hospital, these are managed. They are not just treated. I didn't find this in any hospital in India. I mean, there are fantastic establishments in India I could call. There are Taj Mahals here. Sometimes in North, there are beautiful hospitals, fantastic infrastructure. But the smallest part of the wound is considerably neglected. And wounds do happen in all kinds of areas. When you bring a patient for surgery, whether it is oncology, whether it is cardiac, whether it is plastic surgery, ortho, you cut. And when you cut, you need to heal. And India is lacking in that area. So that was a challenge for us. Now, how do we take these advanced products to doctors and say, instead of gauze, why don't you use an aquacell? And there's a price difference. There's obviously the benefit to the patient. There's beautiful healing. There's fast recovery. So we had to do a lot of grounds-up activity in India. So I approached a couple of doctors in the south. I worked with Dr. Shetty, Dr. Devi Shetty. I went to him and I said, why don't we set up an advanced wound management center of excellence in your clinic? And we said, okay. So we invested in their center, and we built an advanced wound management clinic. It is actually a center of excellence where we demonstrate how to treat wounds. We had to conduct enormous amount of training programs for nurses because you don't find wound nurses in India. We need them. So every time, there are beautiful surgical procedures here. Surgery is done, then patti laga do. That patti is very important because that can get you into infections that, if not managed very well, would compromise the surgery which you have done. So anyway, we set up our operations in Bangalore. I'll get more into it. We set up our operations into Bangalore. We are in the World Trade Center in Bangalore. It's a nice building out there. And we have our warehouse. We have all the product specialists and commercial staff. We are present in all the 4 regions. In the first 2 years, we have seen a 500 to 600% growth in our business in India. Overwhelming response we got from the doctor community. Thank you very much, because we do have fantastic products. Now, the rationale which I was talking to you is, if you're doctors running the clinic, if you're owners of hospitals, and if you're investors, number one, you're losing your money. You don't have wound centers. You need to pay attention to that. Number two, if you're doctors and healthcare providers or surgeons, these products will help you give a better experience to your patient, better treatment to your patients. So there are many rationale to set up these kind of centers. The diabetes is on a rise. I heard my eminent friends here speaking about diabetes. It leads to foot ulcers. They are wounds. It can't be treated very easily. So venous ulcers is on a rise. Diet is changing in India. Lifestyle is becoming more hectic. Okay. There are a variety of reasons listed on the slide there. But when the lifestyle changes, there are lifestyle diseases, and lifestyle diseases could lead to what you call the need for a revolutionary concept to treat your wounds. This is the brochure for Advanced Wound Clinic, what we did at NH. Now, after we did at NH, the Ramaya Memorial Hospital in Bangalore came to us and said, why don't you set up one for us? So we did recently set up an Advanced Wound Center of Excellence at Ramaya Memorial Hospital. This is the NH clinic. We were in press. We were in media informing everyone about this center. This was the Ramaya. This is how the centers look. They are world-class facilities. They have the required essential diagnostic capabilities. They have well-trained nurses. They use our products. We have yet not thought about offering franchisees, but we go to doctors and create centers of excellence, and it's a choice, doctor's choice, to look at the center of excellence and the treatment we bring and decide if he wants to use our products. Okay? Now let's get into, before I get into the surgical sternal wounds, let me talk a little bit about the cardiac surgery in India. There are around, I think today you do around 120,000 cardiac surgeries in India. The estimation is somewhere in the tune of a couple of million, 2 million cardiac surgeries. That's what Dr. Shetty says sometime. That's what is required. You have world-class surgeons here to conduct cardiac surgeries. Even in US, 30% of the cardiac surgeons are Indians. And there's a lot of medical tourism. So people are coming to India for treatment. And when you do a open heart surgery or a sternal wound, I still call it a wound. We can call it a surgical wound. There are a variety of reasons that infection can creep in. And when infection creeps in, you're compromising your surgery. So however good a doctor can be, if after the surgery, or however good the setup is, if after the surgery you don't take proper care, control your infections, the patient suffers. So there are some statistical data which I'll show you. I mean, these are the, also there is hospital-acquired infection, which can creep in. Now, if you look at the statistics, the global burden of this disease, I mean, 32 million people globally are susceptible for cardiac surgeries. Now, not all may be done by having a sternal cut, but they could also have laparoscopic surgery. The mortality rate in the male is around 103%, and in female around 90% if they get infection. If you look at India, see, today the incidence is around 20% of the surgeries that we do have sternal wound infection. What this does, that increases your hospital stay by 57% and cost of treatment by 42%. Now look at it in two ways. One is from a patient's perspective. That's not a great experience. To stay in hospital for a longer time, post-surgery, to get treated for an infection that you acquired because of whatever reason. Look at it from the hospital perspective. In India, you hardly have any beds for everyone. The ratio of number of patients and number of bed, the difference is huge. And you will have this person, infected person, occupying a real estate in your hospital, which otherwise you could have used to treat a patient. There's loss of revenue, and also loss of opportunity for someone who wants to come into hospital. In addition to that, look at the high-risk factors for sternal wound infection: diabetes, obesity, vascular diseases. These are all on the rise in India. So chances of getting an infection on a sternal wound is considerably high. So how do we take care of this? We ran a test, a clinical test at Winthrop University in the United States. And this has been going on since 2011. And we will soon be publishing it. We did around 500 trials where the surgical cover dressing was used to treat once the surgery was done. If you look at the data there, one patient among 500 developed infection. On the other hand, 35 patients out of 250 patients on whom a normal dressing was